lovely people, we're here again with a new episode of the Human Light Bulbs podcast, where I talk with inspiring people. And this time we have a very inspiring person who wrote already many books, but he is also a painter and he also makes music and all sorts of things he can share himself. Today we have Sol Luckman here. And we will also talking about his latest book, Get Out of Here Alive. Now, we all want that, so very welcome, Sol, and maybe you can share a bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks for having me, Annika. This is a nice meeting of the minds. I was not aware that you had written all of those books, so that's very interesting. Yeah, we are on a similar wavelength. It's very true. I'm a jack of all trades, and I love to experiment and love to work across genres and defy expectations. A recent review of my new book called It or Me or maybe both rebelliously refreshing. So I definitely have my own contrarian take on things. Um, where should we start? I don't know. I wanted to make sure you're still there. It looked like you had frozen up for a second.
Oh no, I'm still here and I'm listening. And maybe you can tell me a bit of your about your story, how you became aware of certain things, or like your awakening journey or healing journey. You want to share a bit of that?
Sure. Yeah. This is that story that I always find myself shortening and shortening and shortening because it bores me because I've heard it so many times. But for a lot of people, it's pretty interesting. I got really sick with an autoimmune illness when I was in graduate school back in the 90s after getting some travel interventions, if you know what I mean. And it was a very difficult period of time. I went down the allopathic route. They had nothing to do for me. I was suffering from something that had a lot of affinities to chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia and multiple chemical sensitivity, that sort of thing. So I went down the holistic path, and that was also kind of rabbit holes inside rabbit holes. But eventually, I did discover a couple of different modalities or techniques that helped me with my energy and some of my allergies. One was Qigong, and I practiced a lot of Qigong for a long time. And another was allergy elimination technique developed by a doctor named Nambudrapad. Both of those assisted me, helped me survive until ultimately, I ended up discovering my own methodology called the Regenetics Method that I ended up writing two books about. One's called Conscious Healing. The other one is Potentiate Your DNA. And Potentiate Your DNA basically teaches you how to do the first part of this work that I call Regenetics. And that's what got me well after nothing else really got me over the hump, if you will. And it was kind of miraculous. I detail this in my books how it was a magical mystery tour of shamanism and mysticism that led me down that path, combined with a tremendous amount of synthesis of, just lots of science and esoterics and other even literature to a large degree, little traces that I picked up from my experience as a literary scholar. So I was looking at DNA and DNA's relationship to language and sound and how we could use voice and frequency to speak to our genetics. I call this the inner genetic interface. And the idea is that when you have an illness, it's actually recorded, and in essence, it's caused by distortions in your bioenergy field, in your biofield. That would be your aura, and that manifests physically in your body or in your mind, mentally here in this place. So you're non-locally over in your energy field and you're locally here, and the blueprints or the templates are stored over in the energy field. So if I realized that if I could find a way to tell my energy field to instruct it how to heal itself, that would then flow through my genetic apparatus into my body and heal me. And it did. And since then, I've worked with people all over the world, thousands and thousands of clients, thousands and thousands of readers of the book, people out there doing this work for themselves, doing it for their loved ones, their pets, their businesses, and just having really remarkable success with it, and even miraculous events at times. It's amazing. I open my email and there's another testimonial from someone who just, can't believe that this is actually working, and it seems so amazing. I'm always gratified. It's almost old hat though at this point. I just kind of expect it because it's so common. I've been doing this for 2 decades, so it's not, this is not a new thing for me. Is that enough of a background for you?
Yes, yes, thank you. And but it's really beautiful that you healed yourself and then you're also helping others heal themselves. And if people want to be in contact with what you're doing, I will put indeed like your links under here. But how, if people want to know more about it, how can they find out?
Sure. So the two book titles are Potentiate Your DNA and Conscious Healing. I also have a video tutorial called How to Potentiate Your DNA. So some of the Regenetics assets are over on Substack at solluckman.substack.com. And if you just search Regenetics or potentiation or potentiate or DNA even, you'll find what you're looking for. The main Regenetics website is phoenixregenetics.org. And you can go there and you can also get access to the books, the audio books, the we do a worldwide, my partner Lee and I do a worldwide potentiation ceremony the first Sunday of every month. It's free. You can register to experience the first activation in the methodology. Just you can just register right there for free, and that's every every first Sunday of the month. So all the instructions are on the site. It's called the Worldwide Potentiation Ceremony.
Okay, so I'll put that link also in there from the Phoenix Regeneration,
Regenetics. It's
Regenetics.
REGEN
I'll put that here.
Regenetics. Yes, yes.
Yeah. And with your new book, it's like Get Out of Here Alive. You share like lots of writing from other writing authors and lots of like different techniques. Can you share maybe some that you think like what could really help people? Like what you shared in the book. What is the main thing that you wanted to, what your intention was for people to experience, or how to get out of your life?
Well, let me turn that back on you since you read it, right? What do you think
Mhm.
the point of the book was? What's the story being told?
Well, I feel like it's about like really how you can be here and make sure that you are aware of your energy and where it goes, and how you can store that for yourself and make sure where do you want to focus on or not. So I think you gave a lot of different possibilities, like possible tools for people for to be more here.
Yes, yes, I like the way you phrased that. That's nice. In my mind, when I was writing it, I divided it into two kind of shamanic categories, and one is called not doing, and the other one is the doing, right? So the not doing is figuring out all of the places in your life where you lose energy and power, and then you stop doing those things, or you do different things that break up those routines that keep you depleted. So I go into social media detox, the power of silence, moving your body, dancing, how to simplify your existence, all of these types of subjects that a lot of people don't think are that powerful, and yet they're extremely powerful, especially when you put them together and have an intention to take your energy back that way, or to stop losing energy that you've been losing to the matrix, loosh that's being sucked out of you through the co-optation of your attention, which is your imaginative capacity to create your reality. So what happens is people give that away, and other people or forces or beings use that to create all of these dystopian, crazy realities that we're experiencing. So it's really incumbent on us if we want to live better lives personally and individually to learn how to do what I'm teaching in this book. Some version of it, your own version of it, that's fine. But using these principles and extrapolating on how they work for you, you can really change your life, your health, your outlook, your finances, all of it. So that's the
Yes.
not doings, right? There was a sort of half the book is not doings.
Yeah, and it's also for people to become aware of it. Like if they only just do one of the things you described in the book, their whole life will already change.
Yes, I think just knowing how things are set up on this game, I call it the game board or the matrix, of course, is another good analogy. And understanding what this place is to some extent, how it operates, who controls it, how the human population is controlled by it. It's rather complex in some ways, but also very, very simple. It's a pyramidal structure where energy starts at the bottom and goes to the top. And it's being in that energy, that power is being derived from people who are being purposely, systematically traumatized to have conflict and fear and greed and anger, sense of lack, all of these types of emotions that release their personal energy in the form of what I call and others call loosh.
Mhm.
And that is food for the apex predator that controls this matrix.
Well said, well said. Because people are not even aware that their consciousness and their energy being hijacked, and uh, and that they're like, I think like almost everybody's like traumatized in that system and don't even know that they are.
Well, that's yeah, I say that we are systematically
Mhm.
traumatized, a systematically traumatized species. I mean, think about basically another way of looking at it is that we live on an energy farm, and we are the sheeple, we are the herd, and the herd has to be managed in a certain way so that we're not all killed, but that so that our energy can be extracted down to a very low level where we barely have enough energy to survive, much less think for ourselves or achieve greatness, which is our birthright, is really to achieve greatness and to move beyond this matrix. But we're kept
Mhm.
in a kind of pin, somewhat of our own making. I really go to some lengths in this book and my other materials, my last book, for example, to really put the onus, the burden, the responsibility on us. I make a strong case that this predatory force, which I call the dragon or the great parasite, was actually invited into our realm by us. We dreamed it into being. Everything is a dream. Reality is just a slower, more solid seeming dream. We dreamed this being into our world because it represented an evolutionary crossroads for our species because of the way we interfaced with it. This is the serpent in the garden. We ate of the tree of knowledge. That tree of knowledge gave us a kind of conscious mind that allowed us to go beyond our unconscious mind, the great reservoir of the unconscious mind that we operated with in the dream time, in the ancient past, right? And in taking that on, we we actually accepted the mind or the operating system of this apex predator, the dragon. We think it's our mind, but it's actually something else's mind. It's like Bill Gates giving you your mind and your operating system, and you think you're thinking with your mind, but really he can control all of it because it's his system.
And now it's for us to take it back, take our own power back and our own energy back and free ourselves. And it's really good that you like I really like how you how you explain it, how this operating system is and works. And that also gives a new perspective for a lot of people. Like it's like, yes, this is there, but you take your own power back.
Right. So the second half of the book is strategies for doing that in an active way. Those are the doings that I mentioned. So it's breathing techniques, it's visualization techniques, it's shamanism, inner alchemy, various strategies that I actually teach, at least the rudimentary way of doing these things to get yourself started, that allow you to breathe back in, to suck back in your power to heal traumatic events, not only from your past, but even from your future and the theoretical timelines that you're creating with your own stress and worry and fear. You can actually stop those timelines from happening and suck back in the energy that you've paid forward, as it were, into those possible futures, understanding that there is no past, there is no future, everything is in an eternal present. The idea of past and future really is just an illusion. And that means that when we think something is over and done with, whew, I'm glad that trauma is over and I'm not, that's not hurting me anymore. Well, that's not true. You're still bleeding your energy from that quote unquote past. So one has to heal all of it, all of the little paper cuts, the 1,000 paper cuts through, that we're dying from, energetically speaking, that are all like little traumas to our system, maybe some larger than others. But it is our responsibility to learn to heal those things so that we reabsorb the energy that we've lost. So we stop losing energy. We also learn how to reabsorb energy that we have lost. And then going beyond this, it's possible to actually feed on the energy of the dragon and the dragon's minions and the scenarios that are being put out there to traumatize the world. You can actually absorb all of that incredibly powerful, quote unquote, negative energy. You can use your own apex predator mindset to make the energy your own that purifies it and aligns it with your intent so that you can now use it for good and for healing purposes. But you can't be timid. There's so many people that I've encountered over the last several decades in the kind of new age spirituality movement who are very timid, and it's because they're so frigging traumatized. So
Mhm.
we have to get over that to move forward and to become powerful and sovereign agents of change, our own change, absolutely, but larger scale change as well.
Yeah, because you can only be like force when you like, because we have to be more like powerful and like not doubting ourselves, or like we need to be more like, yeah, this is like empower ourselves and then share, and then we also how we heal ourselves and we empower ourselves, and then we also make space for our others as well to do that. So I'm
Yes.
really glad that you give the like a lot of things, tools for that.
Right, right. So another aspect to the book, of course, that is the notion that one can actually go beyond the matrix. The matrix seems to have a kind of defining line that we can't go beyond, and that line is death. But according to many shamans, alchemists, seers, and other psychonauts, that is also an illusion. And it's possible to store enough personal energy or power using the doings and not doings that I've described and others like them, that you condense all of that energy into your solar plexus area, generally speaking, in men, and that would be the womb in women. And you compact it and compact it and compact that energy. It's how you store it. And as you do that over time, this energy becomes what is known in alchemy as the philosopher's stone. So the stone is not some Harry Potter little thing that you put in your pocket and it lets you live forever. It is energy that you create in your body and condense and purify. And when you do that, you end up with a kind of, I call it kind of a quasi piezoelectric kind of gem or something. It's like a gemstone that begins to form at a hyperdimensional level, but it actually becomes somewhat physical over time. You begin to feel it more and more. It's a strange sensation when you do this work for a while and you realize there's something going on. The way this works for people who maybe don't understand how this could occur is everything is basically a product of attention. Our attention creates worlds, period. So when you put your attention on something like a dystopian scenario being trotted out by one truther or another, you are helping energize that outcome. It's possible to create other types of outcomes, however, and other types of phenomena. For example, tulpas and egregores are two very, very strange esoteric phenomena that have to do with people's ability, like monks, for example, or powerful meditators, to focus on, let's say, creating a little being, a little god. There's a wonderful book by John Blofeld called The Tantric Mysticism of Tibet, and it has these people who are basically creating these little deities, deity visualizations, and they create them so that they can be seen by other people as well. That's how real they become.
Mm.
And then they learn how to destroy them, which is a very, very interesting thing to do as well. So everything is really a kind of egregore. Everything we call reality is an egregore. So if you choose to put all of this energy into creating your philosopher's stone, guess what? You create one because it's just a conglomeration of attention, basically.
Very, very interesting.
Then you can use that power to with other techniques involving the ability to project your consciousness, you can use this combination of techniques to create a viable dream body that can withstand death and the annihilation of consciousness, and then can travel throughout what shamans call the dark sea of awareness, powered by the philosopher's stone.
And also, like I think also like a lot of books and things all are about this.
Well, yes, I mean, alchemy is a very long tradition.
Mm.
The, the issue with, a lot of alchemy and hermeticism is that, well, in alchemy in particular, the idea of the stone was taken to be as something of, it was taken to be something physical. And what I'm saying is that that was either a lie or a misconception or both, depending on, who was saying it. It was never that. It was always what I'm describing. It was probably a type of smoke screen or red herring to throw a lot of people off the path, including the Inquisition, who would love to go in and burn the alchemists, right? So there was a reason to be very secretive and tricky and slippery back in the day, but that's no longer the case. We can talk about these things openly, and we can engage in this type of process very aggressively right now.
Yeah, and I feel like anyway, it's that more and more people are like more aware of uh, like you can talk about these subjects like more than before. Like before, people were not so open to it. So I really feel like the consciousness, it's like more and more people are open to it. So the consciousness is like expanding and opening, and more people are like open to all of this information as well. And I wanted to ask, so this is all very, very interesting. And I would also like really recommend to read your book. It's very interesting. And I wanted to ask you like, what could you like, because like what you said, like a lot of like energy is like at this moment like being from like harnessed from like people that are really suffering and really like not feeling very well right now. What would you suggest for someone to like, if it's just like one thing that they could do that can really be beneficial for their life and their energy?
Right. I do get to that subject in Get Out of Here Alive, where I
Mm.
basically conclude that if I were going to do one thing, I would do potentiation. I mean, it saved my life and it brought me back, from despair and very ill health to a state of robustness. And I've, been going strong now for over 2 decades since that phase. So you know, it did a lot for me. So that's something you can do for free, and you can learn to do it for yourself. You need to either read Potentiate Your DNA and or watch the How to Potentiate Your DNA video, and you need a 528 hertz tuning fork, the Mi note from the solfeggio scale. Those are available online. You can get them on our website at phoenix3genetics.org. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't really matter. Just get it, use it, learn how to do this. You can, like I said, you can do it for yourself, you can do it for friends, and just watch the, you know, the unfoldment, because what you're doing in a 30-minute session, you are initiating a 9-month process that unfolds naturally. And we provide resources, schematics, timelines, etc., for helping you track the flow of energy through your subtle anatomy, your energy field, over the course of that 42-week. It's like a birth cycle, a gestation cycle. So you're being, in some sense, reborn energetically, and your biofield is being tuned and healed.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So for everybody who is interested in this, I will put the links in here, and also yeah, you can also find his books here, and they're all like they're very interesting and also all the other books also, the titles are amazing. And for everybody who wants to know more and grasp more, it's like yeah, you are really someone who really shares that. And I'm grateful for this talk that we had. And I hope everybody really loved it. And maybe you heard some new things. And you can check out this website to check out more things. But I'm yeah, very grateful that you are here. And I wish you all the best with all the things that you do.
Well, I really, really appreciate that. If you would allow me to just let people know one quick thing, I'm looking for reviewers of Get Out of Here Alive, people who are willing to read the book and post a review. And you can do that if you visit my Substack, solluckman.substack.com. You'll find links in all over the place too, where the book is downloadable, so it's free. You can just go download it. You can read it on a device, and then you can leave a review. Amazon's a great place to leave a review. Goodreads, BookBub, these are all very, very helpful places just to leave an honest review. If you don't like it, that's fine. Just be honest. And you know, my hope is that people encountering it this way some people will be really inspired to take their lives to a completely new level. I know it's possible. I see people doing it all the time. I see people being inspired by this book and its connections to the other work that I do. So, you know, if this resonates, then I say go for it, and it's free.
Yes, so that's really cool that you share that already, indeed, for people that want to review it. And the link is underneath here. So if this sparks your interest, and you think, oh, that sounds really very interesting, and I want to know more about it, just go to these links and you find out more. And thank you very much, Sol Luckman, and thank you everybody for being here, and saying goodbye to all of you.